week of observations with Otsu, just a weekly video showing what Bitcoin and the crypto market has done for the past week. How can we assess that, and how does that play into Arune, a strategy that I commonly use, and one reason why you probably follow me for my content. So let's take a look. We're going to take a look at the total market cap and see what we can assess from there. We're going to look at Bitcoin as well, Ethereum, and then we'll look at how Ethereum compares to Bitcoin on the ETHBTC chart. So if we take a look here, get rid of this, and then we are currently at the crypto market cap, and we will focus on the weekly time frame. We can notice here that last week we actually had kind of a bearish week overall. This plays into the Arune, how we kind of have somewhat of a bearish wedge. It's typically a bearish wedge is supposed to be flat here. This kind of bounces back and forth, which kind of indicates some indecision as well on bearish price action. But needless to say, we didn't have a good week or a green week necessarily, but not overall a terrible week as well. We did, despite the fact that we had a bearish week, we did close above. Let's see if we can zoom this in. We did close above on this low here, so just barely. And so far that plays into the reaction that we've gotten so far this week, which we're only about 24 hours in. So this is a good reaction overall compared to what we have seen last week. The fact that we have already bounced half of the downtrend from last week overall is pretty decent, and this all plays into the Arune. So what this shows me on the weekly, the bearish line is basically at flat. If it's less than 2, Arune guidelines and guidelines that I created, so take that with a grain of salt. If it stays under 2, it's basically 0, because, and the reason being is Arune trends tend to go in 7s, and so if they're close enough to 0, I just consider it 0. And a lot of times if it's even under 5, it depends on how it's presented, but I also view that as 0. But I digress from that. We've kind of typically, since this is kind of flat-ish, we want to see more downtrend than what we've seen. So far this is a good sign for the bulls. What the bears want to see is just a drop of this section right here that we've marked out in red, and so far we've not gotten it. If we get that, we can kind of view this here as the mid. See, this mid still lines up with the red, so that's good to see if you are a bull, at least for the time being. But you kind of want to see this failure here at 839 for if you're a bear. So far you haven't gotten it. Ideally you want to see this fail first and then stay below in this range and eventually go down past 839. Right now, it's just been flat for 5 weeks, and that's pretty boring, but I mean that also gives you an optimal chance to make sure the direction you want your trades to be in. So that being said, this blue line here is the bullish line, and it's at 28.57. So if you divide that by 7, you're roughly looking at about 4 more candles, so about 4 more weeks. So we could see, there's a chance that we could see a boring price action until Thanksgiving, or until mid-November. So that's something to consider. I would not hasten to any major moves at this point, because we are kind of locked into this range. As we can see here on the daily, that kind of demonstrates this. We're just kind of locked in this little range here, and honestly, until we break this range, I wouldn't be sold on either direction. I would wait. And again, this is the crypto market cap, so I wouldn't. Obviously, I don't trade from the market cap, and I'm not sure there is an exchange that lets you trade this. But I'd be much more hopeful on the bullish side if it went above this. I am exposed in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's part of my long-term holding plan. So I do plan to hold those if they go down to zero, and if they don't, then that's good for me. But I'd be much more hopeful above this, and below this you can kind of have a big sense of caution and fear and otherwise if it goes down below. If we kind of analyze this on a macro side, what I would see here is this top from the previous from 2018. So this is something that we can also consider as well. That if we do drop below this, then hitting around the 700 range is a huge possibility, and from there that's about a 22% drop. So just something to keep in mind. So we'll go from there to Bitcoin. We've had a pretty good day so far. On the weekly chart, we will see what this looks like, and we had a pretty nice drop towards the middle of the week last week, and we recovered very greatly. As you guys probably had known, on one of my tweets I said that we need to maintain this red box, and this is really meant to be from the daily, and a lot of people were kind of claiming doom and gloom at this point, but we wicked above it, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign if you are a bull. It's not necessarily something that we can say, hey, all right, bear market's over. It's nothing like that. But as far as this range, this is a good sign for the bulls that we can be somewhat safe. And I believe I did buy at this range. Let me see here. I think it was on the 3-day that maybe it was the 2-day. It was a 12-hour. So I bought right here. So and I already did buy in at 19.3 elsewhere. So I'm slightly above water. Nothing fancy. Nothing to write home about. But still, you're in a good position. But as far as that red box is concerned, that's something that we need to fail if you are a bear to start making some more money. Let's go back to the weekly. And so we've already bounced above this. Again, good sign. We don't want to get too high this week. Otherwise, that would cause a bullish breaker and we go back down. This A-run here is a really healthy bullish consolidation. And this is fairly wide from 93 to 36. So a spread of about 60 roughly. And this is pretty good. And the fact that this is at 33 as well, or 35 rather, indicates that we could see some more bullish price action for the long term, which is roughly about five candles. So that's another indication that we could see Bitcoin move much more bullish. Now, if you were paying attention earlier on the total, this is much more bearish, right? So, but this also includes Bitcoin, includes Ethereum, includes every coin. So this tells me as well that despite this is weaker than Bitcoin by itself. So that tells me that Bitcoin is a little bit stronger than the rest of the market. So I would be paying more attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum versus everything else. And I can really quickly show you why. So overall, this is a pretty neutral structure, just for lack of better terms. Ethereum has a pretty healthy structure. This is a very solid retest, one that I don't see why is I don't understand why it's not getting the attention that it should, because this is very healthy. I've longed this, and this is a very textbook long, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying this is the textbook examples that people show you in education courses and things like that. I would not short this at all unless it breaks the green and holds. But then you can also see here on Solana, this is a much more bearish setup because it's following this trend line down. It's failing to make new highs, even higher lows. So this is much more bearish of a structure. Even though we're still in kind of a range structure, it's more of a bearish range. And you can also see this with AVAX as well. And I can go down the line here, but there's some of them that are more bullish, where some of them are more neutral, and some of them are more bearish. Some of the ones that have piqued my interest are, see, where's it at? Aave. This is starting to hold and starting to break above. This is a little more neutral, but starting to head a little more bullish. Maker's another one. It's already up 7%. If you're in my Telegram, I've already posted about this. Doing really good. If it maintains above that, I think we can go to 1700. So again, this is more of a neutral to bullish structure. And if you know something, what's in common between Aave and Maker is that they're very foundational to the DeFi space. And so is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that tells me that these foundational coins are starting to behave differently, and they're starting to kind of wake up, so to speak. And that's something that you want to see if you are a bull and you want this market to navigate upwards. And I personally am thinking that it will, at least for the next 2 to 4 weeks. So going back to the weekly, again, we had a good bullish momentum so far today, or this week, which is really just today. Bearish for last week, but still that's a very healthy bearish candle, so to speak. And so we're doing pretty good here on the daily. Still kind of hovering in this range. Nothing major until we break above the green. I'll probably buy more if we get above this green area here. And I'm waiting for, as you guys know, if you are in my Telegram, I'm waiting for this band to turn blue. And I'll buy again if it does turn blue. So I know that's fairly simple, but that's just how it's worked for me. It's the RSI is starting to be healthy as well. Starting to break above this 50 mark. So this looks pretty solid overall. I do not know why people are as bearish as they are. Me, this is textbook neutral to slightly textbook bullish as far as the whole market is concerned. But this is a very healthy A-rune on the daily, and I think I covered the weekly. But yes, this is even healthier. So this is something I would like to see push higher. I can see 28 happening within the next month. So we'll see how that goes. And that also matches up here with this block, the swing low order block. So 29.1. So roughly the same. So we'll see how that goes. We'll go on to Ethereum. Ethereum is doing okay, slightly bullish for today. On the week, we had the same. We even had a better, roughly the same. Again, wick down, or it went down, wick back above, and it even went above this marker here. So that's really good. We're bouncing, but we're still lower. So that also tells me that although Ethereum was stronger last week, thus far Bitcoin's showing more strength this week. But again, it's only Monday, so I can't make that assessment. However, I can allude to that with the bearish wedge that we have here on A-rune. Again, we're at 28 to 0. So we got another potential 4 more weeks of bearish price action here. So what this tells me here, this green marker here is for the daily, but this here is for the weekly. If Ethereum can hold above this marker here, which is roughly at 1200, if it can hold above this marker for 4 weeks, that is a very bullish sign to me. And it is still currently holding. It is also holding on a lower time frame. It's also retesting here very well on the daily. So that shows me that we have some pretty good signs that this will hold. And the longer this holds, the better it's going to be. And A-Rune shows that bears have about 4 weeks to make something happen. Otherwise, this is something that's going to be much more bullish heading into the end of the year. All right, we're going to go to the daily. And again, kind of got this range here, but also we are above here. So this is a good retest. And like I said, this is textbook. This is a textbook retest. Yeah, this is going on longer than it probably should, but it's still holding. And as long as it's still holding, I see no reason to just kind of give up on it and go short, because this is an optimal long opportunity if this goes higher. A-Rune is in a healthy bullish consolidation, because when I say healthy, it's usually the width determines the general healthiness of the trend. And we're at 71.21, so we got at least 3 more days of bullish opportunity, and so we'll see how that goes. RSI is still below the 50, so anything could happen right now. The next day or two is probably going to be a little tricky. If I'm already added in, I think I added in somewhere around here, but if I wanted to add in more with more size, I would go above the 50 mark on the RSI, or above this range here at about upper 13s to lower 14s. And we're going to compare the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. So on the weekly here, we broke below this little trend here, and we're kind of hovering below it. We also got the bearish wedge that formed, or the bearish consolidation, which was right here. And then when it went flat, that turned into a bearish wedge. So usually when you get a when you get any kind of consolidation, it goes in that general direction, which in this case would be bearish. But once a consolidation turns into a wedge, that trend accelerates. So we had this doesn't really count here. I usually don't count it because it's kind of tricky, but this is the start. Usually I end at the confirmation of this candle, so that would the trend would start here. So we had a bearish price action candle here, went here, and then this candle is the start of the wedge. So these two are consolidation candles, and these were wedge candles. So what we're also seeing here, usually consolidation has a general trend. Wedge is supposed to be a heightened trend, and we're not seeing that. So that tells me that we could see some upward price action, or just ranging in general. But overall, this is bearish in general, waiting for the bearish cross to happen. And this kind of goes indicative of how the total market cap is behaving, how Bitcoin and Ethereum are currently behaving. Bitcoin is just a little bit stronger right now, but Ethereum has had a lot of strength, honestly, since 2019, late 2019. So we've had, we can debate about all this here, but it's been on an uptrend for over 1,000 days. I guess you could technically debate here at 800, but that's also the beginning of the bear market as well. So a lot of that's up to subjectiveness or what have you. But as of right now, still kind of ranging, and that's just kind of how it is right now. Personally looking at, these two are the main ones that I would be looking at in general. Usually when a cycle starts to end, Bitcoin does get more stronger, so that's also kind of indicative of what you want to see. Anyway, That's the market cap, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the ETH Bitcoin pair. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. I'm hoping to have more videos this week and next week. And stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.